cobwebs, rust, lots of rust, dirt, dust. Right, well, now that I've taken you round the Hilux and you know roughly what it looks like and how much space there is inside of it, it's time to clean out the back here and get rid of everything so I can truly appreciate how much space that actually is in it altogether when both seats are folded down. Now I've already got both the back seats folded down, both the seat cushions folded up behind the seat, so it's nice and flat here, but all of this behind the camera needs to come out. Let's see what I found in here then. There might be some goodies, some treasure, you never know. Although I doubt it, I seriously doubt it. Right, well, I haven't climbed in the back. I do apologise if you're a bit on the wonk or you move a bit, but obviously it is a vehicle and it does move about as I'm moving about. But one of the first things we seem to have in here is an inordinate amount of cardboard. I've got no idea why the cardboard's in here, but it just seems to get bigger and bigger. If I just stick that over there for now, then I can get rid of that when I get all the stuff out. Now apparently I've discovered 2 shock absorbers. Absolutely no idea what they're for, where they've come from, how long they've been here. I don't know if they're even for this. They might be for this, they could be for anything. But rather usefully, there appears to be a full set of rubber floor mats. Now they'll come in very handy, especially as there seem to be a matching set, although this one does come with its own little problem. However, that might not be too bad for now. So we've got a full set of front and back matching rubber mats with a bit of air conditioning in one of them as a tie down for a dog. Yes, I did used to have a dog. I no longer have a dog, so I don't know how long this has been here for. So that needs to go out. A very handy piece of rubber hose. God knows why the rubber hose is in here. No, stop thinking that. This is a family channel. It's just a bit of rubber water hose. And then apparently I have a blanket. Will help keep me warm in the depths of winter, presumably. Although I can see that disappearing and being disposed of. So I don't know how long it's been in here. Now then, interesting bits. A foldable umbrella, always handy in the UK. And then a non-folding umbrella, equally handy in the UK. And that's joined by, would you believe, a decorative golden umbrella. No idea why there's 3 umbrellas in the back of here. And the general dirt, dust. Oh, this could be handy for something or other. A bit of rope. Well, I'm not even going to ask. Rubber hose, rope. Wow. But I do have, I've discovered now, I did wonder where this had gone. This lovely heavy item, made by Rockwood, is what's commonly referred to as a straight bar. Now what that's for is for towing vehicles. Rather than towing with a rope or anything like that, the straight bar attaches to the tow hook on the front of a vehicle or on the rear of a vehicle, and the other side of the straight bar goes on to the tow hook on the vehicle that's towing it, or possibly the tow bar. I'm not too sure, it's a while since I opened that, but that's where it is. It prevents the elasticity of a rope or something, or a strap or something you're towing with, and it keeps both vehicles pretty much locked together. The other thing I found, now it is sitting on a bit of cardboard, which thankfully makes it easy enough to slide around in the back of here, but I'm not going to be able to pick this up and show you what this is. So when you get the camera, I'll show you what this is. It's a little too heavy to pick up and show you on camera. So this glorious item is a winch. Now this particular one's mounted on the front bumper. As I was saying in the last video, I do have a winch bumper for this particular car. So this is a £13,000 winch. No, that's not how much it costs to buy it. That's the weight it can pull. If you work in kilograms, it works out at roughly 5,897 kilograms it can pull. I've used it a couple of times in the past when it was attached to the front of the car, and it's very useful. I used it to pull a dead Vauxhall Vectra off a drive a number of years ago now, and a couple of the little bits and pieces that I was moving around the drive. But it's very useful. Glad I found that. Mind you, it does look as though there might be something suspicious going on with it. Now, I don't know if it's because of the excessive heat that's been in the car the last few months, but that wire, I'm not going to touch it because it even looks incredibly sticky. So yeah, that looks sticky to the touch. So we'll leave that as it is, and I'll just drag that out and manhandle it into the garage or somewhere for now to keep it out of the way until it's required. In the meantime, though, look at this for space. I mean, that white patch of whatever that is down there, that's something sticky that's melted in the heat, but I'll worry about that later once it's all cleaned out. And look at this. This is amazing. Rear speakers there, and by the looks of it, there's, if you can see them, I don't know if they'll come up on there, but over the top of the tailgate there appears to be a pair of speakers as well. Now I'm assuming those grills, one on either side, or some kind of ventilation or something like that. Now we've also got in the back of this, there's a cubby hole there, and there's a cubby hole over there. Now as far as I remember, I used to use those to store various things in. Let's see if there's anything interesting in here, shall we? Hopefully nothing will jump out at me. No idea what that is. Oh, there's a saw blade there. That's always useful. We always need saw blades. And that is, oh, a red bulb. Yeah, well, let's not go there. Now this looks like it could be some kind of window shade. Yeah, we'll investigate that at a later date, because that could be really handy if it is a window shade. So knowing that's in there, what's in this one? Ah, what is that? Sticky patch. Oh, look. Oh, nice. Screwdriver. Forgotten that was in there. Extension cable for a radio, possibly. A couple of the bits of wire lying in the bottom. Yeah, I'm having that. Snaffle that for the house. Put that in the garage with the rest. So, a couple of useful cubby holes. Now, as I was saying in the other video, this window does roll down. It actually rolls down into here. That's the release for the tailgate. It's only on the inside. There's not one on the outside. Now, in this, you have to have the back window rolled down before you can actually open the tailgate. That's the lock for it. Now, that is locked as it is. It won't unlock until the back window is down for safety reasons, because obviously if you try to forcibly open the tailgate with the window up, the window will shatter, and we don't want that. We've also got a couple of tie downs here. Now that is incredibly tight, so that'll free up. And of course there's another one over here hiding under the carpet. Now I do apologise for the lighting in here with the sunlight outside, because it's another gorgeous day here. It's proving really difficult to find somewhere where you can get good lighting for the video. However, at this level, what I can show you is this. Now, there's an awful lot of rubbish that's in here, that's gathered over the years, maybe from the last time I used it, maybe with it just sitting, particularly over in that corner. However, having had a good look round and a close look at everything that is on the floor in here, none of the dirt and the little bits of detritus that's on the floor seems to be anything to do with any form of rodent or any form of critter. So I may have been quite lucky in that respect, which might also seem to suggest that there's no holes in the floor pan that anything's been able to sneak its way through. So I'll get all of this lot over here emptied that I've shuffled from the back to the sort of the middle section of the car, and then I'll get the vacuum and we'll clean this all out and get rid of a fair few things. I've noticed there's a couple of cobwebs up there in the corner, so I'll get rid of them as well. We'll give it a damn good hoover out, and then we'll go from there and see how we can make it look a little bit better before we start doing any kind of repairs and conversion. The batteries that I was on about in the last video, they are in the house. They're currently on charge. Takes a while because there's two of them, and they're not little batteries. With all this dirt, dust, little bits and pieces. Right, vacuum cleaner. Let's get rid of all that. Cue the time lapse. Like, subscribe, come back again for a build. Now I found that. I've no idea what that is. Possibly some form of mould. There was some over here, but I've managed to get rid of that bit of a light patch there. But mostly I've gotten rid of it. So I'm going to see if I can do the same with that with the vacuum cleaner. Hopefully we don't have any little friends up there, but I would have thought there would have been some visible damage somewhere. Don't know what these holes are for, but they're perfectly round, so maybe something can attach into there or used to attach into there before I bought it. But anyway, let's see if we can get rid of that. Right, well, you can still see the patch, but obviously as you can see, it's a lot better than it was. From back here, it's still there. On camera, for some reason, it's showing up a lot more significant than it actually is to the eye. So I'm pleased with the fact that the vacuum's got the majority of it off, the crusty bits, and I'll get some kind of solution and we'll clean that, as well as that bit there, because it has left the light patches and I could do with getting rid of those. However, it has made a marked improvement, and that's the main thing. Now here's a question. In the Hilux, there was 2 sets of mats, full sets. There's a set of 5 that look as though they've belonged to the Hilux and they've been there since it was actually sold, or since the previous owner to me actually bought them and fitted them into the car. And there's also a full set of 4 rubber mats. And there's the original carpet that has the heel pad for the driver's feet, where they normally do. Now my question is this. Now obviously they're going to need cleaning, but the original fluffy mats, washed, cleaned, trying to be refluffed and see if I can use those. The full set of rubber mats, which in an ideal world would be a bit more protective if I'm out in wet weather and I'm getting into the car to drive it with muddy feet on. I mean, that one does have a split there in the middle, so I don't know if I can get that replaced or actually buy a set of those, but obviously I'm thinking temporarily try and save money working on a budget here. So that set of original mats, that set of rubber mats, or now that it's all a lot cleaner, I know there's some rust stains where there's been nuts and bolts sitting, but now that it's a lot cleaner, should I just leave it like that? It does have the protective heel pad from the factory, and this is all original, genuine Toyota carpet. So which do you think would work best? Having it like this, having a rubber mat over it to protect it, or having the original fluffy mat that has Hilux imprinted across there on the mat itself? Leave a comment below and let us know. But bear in mind, before you make a choice or you make a decision, it is going to be a case of when the car's out and about and I'm enjoying it when it's all done. I am going to be in places that may be muddy, may be wet, and I'm going to be getting in and out of it with wet or muddy feet. So, I don't know, rubber mat, the original carpet, or the protective fluffy mat that was on it when I bought it. I know what I'm thinking, but I want to know what you're thinking. Now, you have to admit, that looks so much better, doesn't it? Gave the seats a vacuuming as well. But that looks so much better right across to this side. I know there's some rust stains on the carpet where bolts have been sitting through time, but that's not really that important. Look how good condition the carpet's in. Got down the side of the seat as well. I even managed to get down in there to some degree, but I mean, these seats will be coming out at some point. I'd like to try and get this repaired, but for now this will do perfectly as it is. And this is how good it looks in the back. Look at that, lovely and clean. Now there is that, which unfortunately I've gotten rid of most of it. It's all really hard, sticky. It is picking off. The vacuum took most of it. Judging by what it looks like, I think it's one of those, you know, if you've ever been to a birthday party or an anniversary party, there's balloons full of helium. I think it was a birthday balloon at some point, and it's slightly melted, and it's melted into the carpet. But anyway, that's all done, that's all clean. Cleaned the seats down a little bit. One little rust stain there, and a bar across there where something metal's been sitting in the back of it when it's been in storage. I'm not going to worry about that though. Got that back door open, so it's a nice through flow of draft or cooling wind at the moment. Breeze, I think that's the word we're looking for. A nice breeze blowing through it all together. Now, excuse the fact it's a little bit dark in here for the lighting purposes for the camera, but there's one other thing in the truck that I've remembered was there. I knew it was there when I bought it because I was told it was there, and then I never got around to using it, and I never got around to trying it to see if it actually works. But I have recently just refound it. give you a little bit of a clue. I'm not going to ruin it and tell you where it is just yet, but I'll give you a bit of a clue as to where it is, or at least where it is. Now down here, at the side of the centre console, there's a bunch of black wires, and they come out from under the centre console, and they appear to disappear under the seat. If you know what that is, or you think you know what that is, or you want to have a guess at what that is, leave another comment below. Let me know what you think that is. It has briefly appeared in the section of the video before this bit, so there might be a huge clue there. In fact, it might be a complete giveaway. But let me know in the comments below what you think it might be. I've had to come inside for a drink. It's a gorgeous day outside, but when you're doing all this manual labour stuff, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love manual labour. I could watch it all day. It's just the actual doing it in the heat that gets to be a little bit problematic. And there's loads more to do. However, this is the hugely exciting part of the video. This is the bit you've all been waiting for. Now, I know there's probably a load of you out there that watched the previous video I did on what I want to do with the Hilux and convert it into like a micro camper. And you've probably all thought, look at the size of that in the back. There's no space in there for anything. At very best, all you're going to get in there is an air mattress, a couple of deck chairs on top of it, and maybe a camping table. And then you get to where you're going. If it's a gorgeous day, you can have the air mattress to sleep on. You've got the deck chair and the table, the deck chairs on the table outside, and you're having a glorious day. Take some food with you, shove it in the cool box, put the cool box down by the passenger footwell, and it's going to be a fantastic day. But then, if the weather turns and it gets chilly, or worse still, as I live in the UK, it starts raining, what are you going to do? You can't sit outside in the rain. Well, not unless you're an idiot. You can't sit outside in the rain. I haven't got an awning to go around the top of the Hilux yet at the minute. That might come later, though. I am planning on that one, but that's a long way down the line. For now, I want to do it on a budget. And the budget means I've got to do things as cheaply as I possibly can. Now, I watched a video the other day from a couple on YouTube that had converted a van. And they converted the van, including buying the van, all the bits and pieces that went into it, all the electrics, the plumbing, etc., the bedding and all that, everything went into it. They spent a total of £25,000 converting this van. It was a box van. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was absolutely fantastic. And oh my God, if they pulled it outside the drive now and said, do you want it? It's yours if you want it. I'd love it, and I wouldn't turn it away. However, when I'm doing a conversion in the Hilux that's pretty much next to worthless, I'm not going to spend 25 grand on it. So my thinking is to do it on a budget, and to prove to you guys that it can be done on a budget, I'm going to try and do it for less, not less than 25,000. I'm going to try and do it for less than 10% of what they spent on theirs, including buying the car. Now, I paid roughly, from what I can remember, I paid somewhere in the region of £1,200 to £1,400 for the Hilux as it is now. It didn't have the lights on the roof. Those were mine. I put the lights on the roof and I put the wheels on it. But I already had those sitting. They'd come off something else many moons ago. So in total so far, as I can't really remember whether it was 1,200 or 1,400, let's err on the side of safety and let's say I paid 1,400 for it. Now, less than 10% of their 25,000 budget makes it 2,500. So I need to spend less than 2,500 converting that into a reasonably comfortable budget micro camper. It might not be easy, but it's going to be done and it's going to work. And that's the budget in total to get it to comfort levels, just so I can actually get out there in it and use it. So I'm thinking, I spent, say, 1,400 on it, on buying it, so the rest needs to come in at 1,100 or less than 1,100. And for that, I need to design it very carefully. Really, really carefully. And I have to think about where everything's going to go and how it's all going to work. Now, all these conversions that I've watched, they all seem to have a pretty similar theme. Now, a lot of the Hiluxes, or the Forerunners, the way they do it, they put two drawers in the back, and the drawers go all the way back to behind the front seats, and they'll slide out the full width, or the full length, if you like, at the back of the car, which is ideal because you keep all the stuff you need in those two drawers. But you lose about that much space, which gives you a more narrower space to make into a bed or a sleeping. So I'm basing the conversion of mine on the way I've seen people across the entire world on YouTube doing things like Volkswagen Combi vans and Volkswagen Caddy maxi vans and the smaller vans, maybe, not the Transits and not the Crafters or the Sprinters, but the smaller vans. I don't have the beauty of a CAD system to work on in order to design what I want. And it's no good me thinking about it and trying to explain it to you because you wouldn't get the vision that I've got in my head. So I've used the poor boys version of CAD, which is cardboard aided design. Come and have a look at this. This is really exciting. Now I'm thinking I've also built a little bit of ingenuity into this as well. I don't know if it'll work. I will have to consult a few people that have one of these and see if it will work, or have a look around and see how it'll work out. But wait till you see this. This is so exciting. Now hopefully, as you can see, I'm sat with my legs outstretched in the back of the Hilux. I'm actually leaning against the seat. That's the headrest of the driver's seat, just there. So this is lovely and comfortable. There must be about another 2 foot, 2.5 foot space between the bottom of my feet and the tailgate. So I can sit like this, quite comfortably in the back of here. But what if I want to go to bed? Where am I going to sleep? Well, that's where it gets really interesting. Now if I spin round so I can actually see the position back here. Now this is me leaning back against the tailgate. So what I'm working on is this bit here. That's the backrests of the back seats, and that's the seating part of the back seats. Now my theory is, working on this, and tell me how you think this will work. I'm actually going to remove these two back seat rests altogether. And I'm going to remove those two seat bases altogether, and that's going to drop down a lot further underneath there. Now with the seat bases removed, obviously that won't be there, that'll be gone altogether, just on both sides, as I said. With this removed, it gives us this lovely flat space down here that drops down another, what, 4 inches, 4.5, 5 inches maybe down there. This bit here, the hump, that'll have to stay because I think the fuel tank's under there. Or maybe it's the four-wheel drive transmission is underneath there. But that hump will have to stay, so I can't cut that out and just weld a flat plate in. At least, I don't think I can. Obviously, if I take the seat back out and the seat base out, I'll take these seat belts out because I won't need them anymore, which means I'll be able to take these seat belts out because I won't need those anymore either. And then, when all that's done, oh, and in case you're wondering what this is, it's the hook, or the handle if you like, that if this was a slightly older version of the Hilux, the spare wheel wouldn't be on the back on a swinging gate, it would actually be under the car at the back, and this is what you would use to wind it down so you could get to it. They all came with this, regardless of whether the spare wheel was underneath or on the back door, so that'll be going as well, because obviously I won't need that. But anyway, my idea is, if this space is here, that gives me a little bit extra storage behind the front seat, but this bit here, with my CAD, my cardboard aided design, now if I put a couple of drawers in here that go all the way across to that door, I can take the door panels off and I can just put a flat panel on there, still leave the handle, the pull handle, so you can open the door from inside if you need to, but I can get rid of the armrest and I'll really flatten that out as well. I'll just take the armrest off and see if that'll work. So these drawers will go all the way across from, say, here all the way to the same place over there, and as well as a bit extra storage on the top. What I can have is this can slide out. If it slides out, it can slide out to its own length, so it'll come out hopefully to about there, level with the door. Now you might be able to see it's on a bit of an angle. It's difficult to show you with cardboard, but sitting there, it's obviously going to be right across here. It's going to sit there. I just haven't got it all the way across there for that at the minute. But if I put that there, two immediate problems spring to mind. One is it's going to hit there, so it can't slide out. Now obviously I need to make it, or I want to make it as wide as I possibly can. Now it is going to be a bit further over there, maybe it's another inch or an inch and a half further over there. But then there's this door. Now hopefully you can see the door doesn't actually open completely flat, it opens on an angle. Now the only reason the door opens on an angle is because of this check strap. So I'm thinking if I disconnect the check strap from there, the door will open a bit further back. Now I could disconnect it, take it out altogether, lengthen it and put it back in, so I've got a little bit more space to open the door. If we look at it from the outside, there's enough of a gap there. If that comes back a bit further, as the door opens wider, that bit in there actually goes further in. It's only going to be about here where we're going to get a problem. So I think there's a strong possibility I could maybe gain an inch or even an inch and a half width with the door opening wider, and then these drawers will work, and if I do them to about, say, that level, I can probably get all the stuff in those two drawers that I need, and then I can put maybe some smaller ones or some shelving or something on the top and have that as a little bit extra storage in the back. Now when it comes to sleeping in the back, you need a bed. So if I just use this old blanket temporarily, I mean, you have to ignore at the moment, you have to imagine that it's not that short, because that's an awful lot shorter than I am. So you have to imagine that it goes from all the way back there at the tailgate to all the way up here, sitting in that unit somewhere. I'll put my feet on top of that unit, something like that. If I don't put the shelves on, I can have it all coming all the way back here. Now, that's really, really narrow. So what I could do is either a slide out or a fold out. And obviously, as I said, the idea is the bed's going to come all the way back here. So it'll have, yeah, all the way back to there somewhere. So it'll be nice and long for me to sleep in. But that folds out. Now, I've seen various ways of doing it. Now, the two main ways I've seen people do it in vans smaller than this or about the same size as this is either a slide-out bed where it goes in like a concertina and it slides out, or a fold-out bed. So it's definitely going to be either a slide-out or a fold-out. I'm just using fold-out at the minute as a sort of a diagram to show you how it's going to work. But if I do it properly through the day, that's just going to be like a seat to sit on. Obviously, it'll have to go over the wheel arch cover there, but that shouldn't be too hard to do. That's going to take it up. It's going to keep it underneath that window level. And I can build something in where I can still get access to that cubby hole in the back. Make use of that cubby hole. I'm not sure what that is. I think that's a speaker. I'm not sure. But that would still be able to be moved or put somewhere else. But yeah, so that would be the seat during the day, which is about, what, 1.5 foot wide, which is good enough to sit on. And then at night, that could fold out or slide out into a bed. And when it's folded out, it gives you a little bit of space down the side. And of course, as I'm relaxing on the bed area here, in the bed area, the other thing you need is a cabinet. Now, in all the conversions I've seen, the cabinets are usually on the opposite side to where the bed is. Now, at the moment, I haven't worked out or decided whether I want my bed on the right-hand side of the car, behind the driving wheel, behind the driver's side, or on the left-hand side of the car. For now, though, the bed's here on the right-hand side of the car, which means my cabinet has to go over there. Now, if I do a cabinet about the same width as that folded flat cardboard box, bearing in mind it'll go right back to that plastic piece at the side, and I'll make it high enough so I can sort of work in the fact that you can get access to that cubby hole, and that can go all the way along here, again over the wheel arch, and it can either stop there for where the two drawers are, or I could take it right the way back to just behind the front passenger seat. And then there's that. Now, yes, it would cover the window at that side, but I mean, I could make the top bit shelving so you could see through the window. But then again, at night, you're going to want the window covered to some degree. But I could work on that later. But the cabinet would actually be from the floor over there in that corner, right the way up to the top of the plastic trim inside the car, right up to the headliner, right to the ceiling. I'll get out and give you a better idea what it might look like from outside. Right, so from out here, during the day, you've got your seating area, which would be that bit there. And then obviously that would fold out at night and become the sleeping area for the bed. And then over there you've got your cabinet, which would go up to maybe the top of where the tailgate is, where the window starts. So you've got the cabinet there, which comes all the way along here. And then you've also got the top part of your cabinet for your drawers, shelving, storage, etc., etc., that would go up in line with just behind that door and go right the way at the back, covering that window, maybe some shelves or something. So the back of it would look, I can see if I can fit it all in from the front. So if I show you from the front, that's the sleeping area at night, sitting area during the day, and that'll be where the cabinets are. And if it works, down here would be where the slide out drawers are. Yeah, I think that'll work. Now obviously I can't make the unit out of cardboard, and I can't have the sitting area just being a folded blanket, but that's just an idea of what it's going to be. I'm thinking marketplace, eBay, something like that, find cabinets I can cut down and make fit, or find small cabinets, and maybe a trip to IKEA could be on the cards, because I know they do some wonderful stuff that I might be able to use as long as I take plenty of measurements here before I get there. But I think that's the inside, pretty much thought of at the minute. Of course, plans may change, everything else, it might all be totally different by the end it's done, but as far as I'm thinking at the minute, that's how it would work in the back of here. But before all of that, there's all these cobwebs to move and all this rust to take care of that's just flaking off. Now that, I think, is just some kind of protective coating that's flaking off through age. When you tap this with a hammer or you knock on it, I mean, that is absolutely solid. But I don't want to drive around with it like that. So I'll clean it all off with a wire brush, get it all painted, cleaned, sanded down, and then we'll get rid of all the stuff we don't need to have on there. And then I can take it for an MOT. It does look bad, admittedly it looks bad. They might need replacing. In fact, they will, because those bushes have gone. But you can buy them, that's not a problem. You know, hack through them and take those off. And we'll get everything else looked at and make sure that everything's good and ready to go. I think that in there, you can just see that there, I think that's a twig. Yeah, that's going to have to go, isn't it? Oh, and the other thing is, when this came over to the country, it had air conditioning. It didn't work, everything was seized on it. So I took all the air conditioning equipment off, threw it away. I mean, you don't need air conditioning in the UK, normally, but now we're actually getting proper summers again. Air conditioning would be a really good idea in here. However, as I said, working to a budget, I'm not going to buy all of the air conditioning equipment and put it back on here to give the truck air conditioning back again. I do have a sneaky plan for that. But for that one, you're going to have to wait till the next video. I mean, I don't want to give too many secrets away in the one video, do I? So one battery's charged, as I said, it takes two. One battery's charged, got the other one on charge now as we speak. So in the next video you see on this one, I'll see if I can get the batteries in and we'll see if it'll start. I think the battery on this side's flat. I might have to put some air in that. I mean, it probably needs new tyres by now anyway, but we'll see if we can get it to start. But that's in the next video. If you've enjoyed this video, or you've learned something from it, or you found any information that might be valuable to you, press the like button on the way out. And if you want to see more on this and keep up to date with all the videos, as I do convert it from a humble, worthless 4x4 into a micro camper that can be taken out and about and enjoyed, hit the subscribe button as well. Don't forget to ring the bell. That way you'll keep up to date on all the videos that come out on this, as well as all the videos on the other cars that are sitting out there, which I haven't forgotten about. I just want to get a head start on this one, so that when I'm waiting for things to work themselves out on here and get booked in for MOTs and stuff like that and get brakes sorted and everything, I've got something to do on the other ones as well. Thanks for watching this one. See you in the next one. Bye for now. Like, subscribe, come back again for bills.